What's up, y'all? The other day I put a ask a question tab on my Instagram story, and today I'm just going to answer all of those questions for you guys here in this video. If you guys want to be involved in videos like this, make sure you guys go follow my Instagram. You can ask a question next time I post up a story like that. Let's just get started with the first question. Actually, there's a lot of questions like this, but they're from places all over the world. One of the questions was, are you coming to Germany next year? Are you coming to France next year? Italy the next year? Anyways, basically Germany, France, Italy are probably guaranteed, as well as Lithuania, the United States of America, probably be in Texas a bit, Florida a bit. Some people asked about Australia. I'm not really sure about that, but it is a possibility. There are tons of possibilities throughout Europe as well. It really all just depends on where Hyperlight or Centurion or Jet Pilot or whoever sends me. So yeah, if you guys want me to go to your country, make sure you guys message Hyperlight, Jet Pilot, or Centurion to send me there, and maybe we can get there. Next question, are you the highest grossing wakeboarder in the industry? Actually, a lot of people ask this, how much do wakeboarders make? I don't really know how much it matters, but I personally think that I am not the highest paid wakeboarder in the industry. I think that someone like Sean Murray would definitely be up there, just because this guy has been around the industry for a very long time. I mean, this dude had his own video game by Activision. It was on PlayStation, it was on Xbox. This dude is definitely a positive ROI. I'm sure all of his sponsors are definitely getting their money's worth. I mean, this dude is definitely selling a lot of boats, a lot of wakeboards, a lot of life jackets. Sean Murray is definitely worth it, and I think he would probably be one of the highest earning wakeboarders. However, I do pretty decent myself. However, I am very smart with my money. I live at the top of the hill right here in a trailer park, so I'm not spending a lot on rent or anything like that. However, I am on the water. I drive a Prius to save money on gas. I tow my boat with a 20-year-old truck, so I'm not purchasing super expensive cars or anything like that. Every vehicle I have is paid off, and I'm not buying luxury things like Gucci or anything crazy like that. So if you are into like luxury cars or luxury items, I don't think being a professional wakeboarder is the greatest idea. But if you are living smart, I think it can be a pretty good career. What is your favorite trick? My favorite trick on the boat would just be a big old Superman, a big old Rayleigh, and on the cable I like doing wheelies a bunch on features or big transfers and things like that. These are kind of my favorite tricks to do on both the boat and the cable. What are your winter plans? My winter plans are a little bit more delayed than usual. However, sometime mid-December, Abby and I are going snowboarding in New Mexico. Then after that, sometime in January, I have a couple of boat shows scheduled, one in Chicago and one in Houston so far. Then after that, probably February, I will be going to the Philippines and riding at CWC for a few months, and that should be about it. What model dad cam do you have? The model dad cam that I use, or the handy cam, or whatever you want to call it, it's called a Sony AX53, and this camera is actually amazing. I'm not sponsored by Sony whatsoever. However, I highly recommend this camera to any wakeboarder out there, because you can hand this camera to an absolute idiot of a filmer and the footage will still come out stable. There's a little gimbal inside of it, so your filmer can be so freaking shaky and the footage will still come out smooth. I know how stressful it can be to be out there on the water knowing that your filmer is probably blowing it, but if you have this camera, I promise you, you will feel a lot more confident while you're riding, just because you know that your filmer probably isn't blowing it with this camera. It auto focuses and everything you need it to do. You don't end up with some unfocused footage whenever you get back to shore or you get back on the boat. So yeah, highly recommend Sony AX53. I'm pretty sure it's about $1,000, but it will save you a lot of headaches. Do you have an extra Axis A24 engine lying around? This is actually something that I don't have, and also I have never had a Centurion boat engine blow up on me. However, I do recommend next time you go out on a boat, maybe check your oil, or maybe make sure you change your impeller every 50 hours, or just check all the little things to make sure that your boat doesn't overheat and make sure that your engine doesn't blow up. I'm really sorry to hear, but better luck next time. How old are you? I'm definitely getting up there. I'm sure if you did some Googling and some research, you could figure out my age, but yeah, figure that one out yourself. What are your top 3 wakeboard full parts. I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. I'll probably say maybe the Gramburus Insight section. That one is super sick. There's also a ton of little parts that lead up to it, so it has a really great storyline. Also, Rafterome Beyond Perception, that is one of the top ones ever. And also, I don't really know if this one's considered a video part or a movie. I'm pretty sure it's just considered a movie, but I'm just gonna throw this one as my third, is Shred Town Drop the Gun. This is probably my favorite wakeboard movie of all time. So if you guys haven't seen any of those, go check those out, look them up. They're probably all on YouTube. Maybe you'll have to buy the Drop the Gun one on iTunes or something like that. But yeah, go check those out. They're all super sick. Also, nobody actually asked this, but I do want to give a little bit of advice to anyone trying to film a full wakeboarding part or a full wakeboarding section at a professional level. I know my opinion might not really matter because I am a vlogger, I am a YouTuber putting out YouTube content, so I might be labeled as sort of a kook, but my personal advice would be is to hit big spots when you're filming. There's no need to be hitting wake skate spots on your wakeboard. We are capable of going absolutely massive on our wakeboard, so go big. What was the hardest wakeboarding park trick for you to learn and why? There's actually kind of two. One of them would be the KGB. It probably wasn't the hardest for me to learn because I did do it on the very first attempt I ever tried. However, doing a KGB is still hard for me. Either I will land it perfectly or I will land on my head, and I still don't really understand why, but I'll land one again, and then boom, I'll land on my head, and I'll land on my head again. So the KGB is definitely one that confuses me, and I can never seem to wrap my head around it or have a solid air awareness whenever I am doing one. So a KGB is a really hard one for me. Also, one whenever I was learning was actually doing a backside 3 transfer or a backside 270 transfer hard way, like a heel side one. For some reason, it was really hard to get over this mental block and force myself to actually look away from the handle and handle pass and come around and land on the rail. Honestly, finally, whenever I ended up trying it, I did that one on the first go as well, but that one just took me forever for some reason to actually attempt it. So yeah, those two were pretty difficult for me. What are some tips to progress quickly? My best tip would be is to find tricks that connect to each other very easily, like a tantrum blind and a switch chromobe or skeezer are essentially the same trick. So if you do a tantrum blind, you basically already know how to do a skeezer. So whenever you do end up attempting a skeezer or switch chromobe, you will end up landing that trick very quickly. But if you only do tricks that connect to each other, you'll almost end up only spinning in one direction. So my other bit of advice would be to practice riding switch a lot, land riding blind with the hand you're least comfortable a lot, and also practicing spinning the direction you're least comfortable with a lot. And if you end up doing this all of the time, later down the road, a ton of tricks will unlock more easily. However, that does take a lot of time. So my best advice would be is to ride a lot, put a lot of time on the water, and spend a lot of time doing things you're uncomfortable with doing, and that will unlock and open the doors to a lot of new things. Did you start off wakeboarding wealthy? My parents were definitely not poor whatsoever, but also not rich. My dad made a living cleaning and servicing pools, so he definitely had a solid income and was my main supporter. However, whenever I started taking wakeboarding very seriously and riding cable every single day at BSR Cable Park, I was actually living on the couch on the Baylor Wake University Collegiate team's house, and I made an effort to spend around $5 a day and would drive to the cable every single day on my scooter. So I tried to spend less than $5 every day for around 2 years to make this dream a reality. And yeah, I kept pushing and pushing to make it happen. But definitely my dad was my biggest supporter, and I couldn't have gotten to where I am now without him. How to break fear when attempting a new trick? My best advice to you would be to just not be a pussy. Honestly, I get scared sometimes too as well, and I end up kind of backing out of tricks, but that really is my best advice. Don't be a pussy. If you can just honestly grab a solid set of balls and force yourself to attempt the trick you want to do, and realize that you're just landing on water and the odds of injury are actually pretty low. However, sometimes injury will happen, and that's a risk you're gonna have to take. So judge your risk and yeah, get after it. Use those balls, and I'm sure you can accomplish whatever trick you want. Are you single? No. Who was your first ever sponsor, and how did that actually end up happening? My first ever sponsor was O'Brien Wakeboards, and I got sponsored by them at an event called Wake the Lake, which was the local wakeboarding events put on by Salinski, which was the wakeboard boat dealership in Austin at the time. And Justin Kiefer was actually there, who's actually a Liquid Force rep now, but he was an O'Brien rep back in the day. I probably looked around 9 years old at the time, but I was probably 14 or 15. I remember doing a tantrum in the contest, and he actually ended up sponsoring me and flowing me with O'Brien Wakeboards. What are your long-term plans in life? That's actually a great question. I don't really know, actually. I've been saving money my entire life. That's why I live in a trailer park. That's why I drive a Prius, and I've just been saving and saving and saving and saving. So whenever this is all over, I can chill for quite some time until I figure out what I'm actually gonna do. But I'd imagine something with film, or maybe end up a team manager for one of the brands I ride, or something like that. Staying in the industry would be pretty cool. Selling boats would be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't really have a plan yet, but I do have a solid amount saved so that whenever everything ends or whatever, I can chill for a while and have some time to figure things out. How would you deal with mental health issues? I'm definitely not an expert on this topic. However, I don't believe that I have any mental health issues. I feel that I'm pretty stoked on life and have a great time every single day. But something that I would maybe suggest is to not give a crap about what anybody thinks of you. Also, maybe don't hang around people who are pretty toxic and judgy, and also maybe don't buy things you can't afford, and try and stay out of debt so that you don't have money stressing you out and things like that. But yeah, hang around good people and be pretty chill, and don't take life too seriously. I think that's my best advice, but honestly, I don't really know. I don't know what it's like to be in that situation, but yeah, just be pretty chill and have a good time, and I think things will be pretty good. How is Airbud doing? Airbud's actually doing pretty good. I've been giving him all the snugs he needs, all the pets he needs, all the treats he needs. However, his knee is slightly hurt at the moment, so I've been keeping him kind of locked up in the house a bit just so he can't run super hard on it or anything like that, and letting him recover. But other than that, he's doing super good, and yeah, he's stoked. What is your purpose in life? I actually have no idea. Maybe it's just to create a ton of wakeboarding content to get you guys stoked on wakeboarding, or maybe it's just to spread the stoke on life with everyone, or to hang out, have a good time, hang out with other people, and we can all have a good time together. But I don't know how much of a purpose I have besides just having fun here in this super awesome place. And yeah, life's pretty good. What dog are you getting after Airbud? I'm actually not getting a dog after Airbud, because Airbud is going to live forever and he's going to be my best buddy till the end of time. So yeah. What is your favorite wake park? My favorite wake park is still CWC Wake Park in the Philippines. I love this place because it is a absolute butterfest most of the time. It is warm climate all the time. The obstacles are absolutely massive, and it's a great time to hang out with all of your buddies. And also, it's super cheap to be in the Philippines for a long time. There's food everywhere for low prices, and you get to see all of your wakeboard buddies from around the world in one place. So I absolutely love this wake park, and it's definitely my favorite. And if you've never been there, you should definitely go and check it out. All right, that is all of the questions that I selected from the ones asked on Instagram. There was actually a lot more questions than this, but if I answered them all, this video would probably be like 3 days long. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys did like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, comment below what kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. And remember, I'll be putting a water sports video every second day forever. So make sure you guys subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.